Hi, everybody. I have the honor and privilege to be here today with Kenneth Grunke of Pathlights. Hi, Ken. How are you today?
I am doing very well. Thank you, Gwen.
Well, it's such a privilege to name Pathlights as our charity of the month, which we now call a not-for-profit hero of the month for Sterk Family Law. But Pathlights is a new name, and you used to be known as PLOWS. So can you tell us a little bit about that evolution and why the name was changed?
Absolutely. So well before even my time, so this is prior to 2017, the community and the organization has been challenged with the name PLOWS Council on Aging for a number of reasons. One is many folks don't know, but PLOWS is an acronym for our townships that we serve: Palos, Lamont, Orland, and Worth. And so folks would say, well, what does the S stand for? And we thought, well, it used to stand, it used to stand for Stickney Township, and we just don't have that in our service area anymore. And actually, I believe we haven't had Stickney Township, I think, almost after our second year in existence. So it's been quite some time. The word council, of course, became a challenge because a lot of folks associated the word council with government owned. And so that was an impression that folks had of our organization, that we were government owned. And then it also really didn't speak to, we didn't have a tagline, so it really didn't speak enough to mission. It really focused more on our geography. So after we went through this very long explanation of where we serve, what communities we serve, finally we got to the point of what we do.
There you go.
So fast forward, and when I came on board, we did a bunch of focus groups. We conducted a lot of surveys. We ended up doing a lot of interviews with our staff, volunteers, community, our board. And we just said, you know what, now's the time. And so we had this wonderful event, a Vision Summit, that you folks were a part of. And so we decided to talk a little bit more about all of these different opportunities that we need to get involved as an organization in the community. And what kept on surfacing was, you folks need to change your identity, though, in order to be a part of these different opportunities, these addressing these different needs in the community. You folks really need to look at your identity. So at the end of that calendar year, after that Vision Summit, the board said, let's go do this. Guess what? Pandemic hit. And we said, uh-oh, how are we going to do this? What does this look like? But when we talked to some different folks in the community, our clients, we had a great meeting with the board, put together a steering committee, reached out to a consultant. First and foremost, we all agreed was we made this promise. We made this promise before the pandemic that we were going to do this. We started it. We can't stop it. So we decided to move forward. And as a result, Pathlights was realized. But not only did the name change to speak a little bit more to what we do in terms of our mission, but as you can see, we also have a proper tagline.
Right.
Experience empowered in life. And so that really had folks thinking and asking the right questions, which is, what do you do? What services do you offer?
And that is my next question, because our community is going to want to know, what do you do?
Well, the good news is our mission has not changed. Our programs and services have not changed. So we're still providing everything from home delivered meals to chore and respite in home. Obviously not as much with the pandemic, but as folks get vaccinated, that also changes. Obviously, a big part of what we do is our case management, where we go into the home, or at this point, we have a phone call with individuals and we go over a care plan that makes the most sense for them in terms of their next steps in their life. We also have advocacy and benefits, which is a lot of the government benefits that folks can access to help kind of with their finances, such as utilities, nutrition assistance, Medicare, prescription assistance, etc. And then we go, what I say, unfortunately, the uglier side of aging, which is the abuse side. So our Adult Protective Services unit, our investigators, that when we do receive a call and a report, we do investigate and do our due diligence. We also have a role in going into the hospitals. A lot of people don't know we go into the hospitals, obviously not physically now, a lot of it's phone call, as well as skilled nursing facilities, but to conduct screens so that when folks are discharged, they have those services in place in their home so that they can become independent. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, I think that's a real hard transition for people, getting out of the hospital and not knowing what to do next.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, it's not just us that are able to help and that we put this plan together. It's a lot of the partners. You know, I mean, you folks have also been involved in numerous ways to help depending upon what those needs are for those individuals who are transitioning out.
That's right. And it's different for everybody. There's not just one straight path. You know, everybody has different desires, different circumstances, and it's a broad range of services that they need. That's so true.
And that's a great point, Gwen, because you know, I think a lot of folks think that our work is prescriptive, that it's this template that gets put out there, and it's not. It's very unique, very custom, as you pointed out, to the individual, what their needs are. And by the way, that changes. You know, as they age, as their situation changes and evolves, you know, our conversations with them change, their needs change, and those services change. So it's an ongoing relationship that we really build over time with our clients.
Now, you know, somebody might be listening today and they might be a son or daughter or a spouse and they need help. They don't know even where to turn or where to get started. You know, and I think that the most important thing that people experience, it's not most important, it's just the thing that a lot of people experience is paralysis. They don't know where to start. So one of the places that we can always direct people to is Pathlights, to say, hey, this is a place that you can learn about what services exist. And if they can't do it, they're going to help you get to understand and get to the right place. So just comment a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we definitely don't profess that we deliver all the services, because we don't. What we are is hopefully a good resource hub, that we are, to your point, that one call, that first call that you can make and say, here's my situation, where do I start? And you know, part of that might be redirecting you to the appropriate partner or organization that can start that off for you, that process. Maybe it's that there are other partners involved as we come up with scenarios or options for you, and you get to choose what makes the most sense, what's most comfortable for you as an individual. So definitely, you know, what we say is give us a call first, and then we'll discuss kind of where we're at. I mean, we even get folks that maybe they have a loved one that are living in our area, but they live as a caregiver or as a family member, some sort of support. They live out of state. And they're just interested to know about what services are available. Will we still help, you know, help that individual? We'll even receive calls, to be quite honest, we'll receive calls from folks out of state and somehow hear about us and say, do you know the aging equivalent of where I live? And you know, we still do our due diligence. We go and research, we try to help them as best we can and connect them to the right resource.
Right. And I think that that whole concept is really the starting point and really a focal point. And, you know, as you're right, as your loved one changes and as the situation evolves, you're going to have to place another call because that may be a change in circumstances or services that you need as you go through. So somebody could just pick up the phone, call out to your entity and have a conversation. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. And right now it's a little bit of a challenge, because what we're a firm believer in is somebody who calls, we have a live person answering. And of course, with the pandemic, we don't have the office available. A lot of our staff members are older adults themselves, have different health issues. So just for safety precautions, we do have more of that automated system set up. But the good news is we have somebody, we have multiple people actually, and through our information and assistance program that are pretty responsive. So it could be within minutes, it could be maybe within 24 hours, but at the end of the day, we are getting back to those individuals who need that assistance. But the best thing to do for an individual when they absolutely have no clue of where to start is just to make that first phone call.
Make the first call, that's right. And you will get back to them and service them. You know, my other question is, how can other people, you know, so maybe your loved one needs the services or you need the services yourself, but then there's a whole other lot of other people out there that want to support or get involved as well. How can they help and how can they reach out?
Yeah, that's a great question, especially during a pandemic. Folks are also wondering, if I physically can't connect, how can I help support an organization? So it's usually three areas for us. The first and foremost is volunteering. Believe it or not, I mean, we still are looking for folks to help us with various different projects, not just from a program services frontline perspective, but from a back office. Do you possess a unique a talent or skill? Maybe it's in finance, maybe it's in leadership development, maybe it's in organizational development, maybe it's in some aspect of either business or marketing or social media, technology. But we always have a need for professionals to provide their expertise and guidance on any level. Because of course, that's something that has tremendous value to us that we would just not be able to afford as a nonprofit. In addition to that, for volunteering, folks are able to do some different projects on the reverse side. They might be interested in some volunteer leadership positions. Maybe it's working with our advisory council or on some committee work, a bigger issue that we're trying to address in the community. Perhaps they really see themselves as providing some significant leadership help and assistance to the organization by potentially becoming a board member or a director of the organization. So definitely there's a full gamut of volunteer opportunities. The second area is definitely partnership, and you folks are a great example of that. Businesses, organizations, civic groups, entities that would like to say, hey, we love your mission, we're complementary, we want to work a little bit more on particular issues together. How do we partner? Please let us know. We're not always that good about finding out and identifying the right people to necessarily reach out to. And so if we can get the word out to the masses to say, we want to explore those opportunities with you as a partner, please let us know. And then the third area is obviously the financial support. Ways that we can not only sustain our programs and services, but how do we grow that? And folks might think, well, I could make an online donation or I could write a check, but are there other ways? And absolutely. We've set up an account through Amazon Smiles with iGive. So if folks purchase their household items, there might be a percentage that could go back to our organization. Or perhaps you might think about putting, Pathlights in your financial plans for the future, as a legacy gift. So there's all kinds of ways to get involved and support the organization.
That's for sure. And I was thinking about when you were talking about individuals who can give back in leadership skills, you're at that retirement age, or maybe you just retired for the first time. You got time on your hands. There's so much that you can offer with the skills that you've gone through and what you've provided. It's amazing. So I do think that it's an important avenue for people to really look at what is it that you can give back at this time in the community, because it's really important.
Absolutely.
I know that you have probably less programs now as a result of the pandemic as you did before, because I know that earlier you had participated in one of our Building Hope program, and oh my, we were all on the edge of our seats. We were asking so many questions that night, and I learned so much. I have to tell you, I mean, I felt like your organization really taught me a lot. But what kind of upcoming programs or events do you have going on right now?
Yeah, so of course, all of our events are virtual right now, and most likely through the remainder of this year. There's so much uncertainty going on, so we're just trying to play it safe, not only for clients in the community, but obviously our staff. But right now, we're still trying to provide the caregiver support for our caregiver programs for those individuals, and especially now, where caregivers don't necessarily have that ability to receive respite and to escape and to have that outlet to be able to change their environment. So we have to continue to provide that type of support to them virtually. Memory Cafe as well. So individuals who have some impairment and early dementia, these are different programs that right now, again, as folks are a little bit more isolated and feeling confined into their home environment, they have to find ways that we can connect with them. Overviews, excuse me, of Pathlights in the organization. Right now we're working with like the Oak Lawn Library and other libraries as well in our service area, just to help educate the folks about our programs and services. The rebranding also offered us a great opportunity to reintroduce ourselves.
Absolutely.
To the community, right. And so there's kind of this resurgence of interest in saying, okay, who are you again? And then I would definitely say that we're trying to work with, some of our partners like Moraine Valley Community College and others around legal issues, and just some of the challenges, financial planning, things that, especially around tax time and some of those issues that usually folks start asking us about in particular. I would say that we'll hopefully open up our event calendar even more. I most likely at the end of March, early April for Older Americans Awareness Month, which is in May.
Okay.
And so that is when we are partnering with a lot of different community partners. We invite anybody and everyone to call us and contact us for more information about that. But at the end of the day, this is a great way to come together collectively as a community and celebrate aging. And the idea is to work with our partners on their programs that they're going to want to host virtually and be able to support them and connect them with the entire community throughout the duration of the month of May. So that is something that will be very exciting for us once that comes out. This is a big, for those who are not familiar with what we did last year, this comes out in the Chicago Tribune, local paper, goes out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It's just a great informational and way to understand and focus on what aging really means to people.
That's so true. And I think that that's where I want to recap for everybody is when you're listening today to what you're talking about and to the passion that you have, this is something that affects all of us. Whether or not you're an older person yourself, or you're a son or a daughter or an aunt and uncle, you work with somebody, we all are affected by this. And as our population ages, we're even going to be affected more. And I think learning about this and getting involved early on really is a key. And instead of running from the issue, which I think a lot of people do, I like that Pathlights gives you an opportunity to embrace the issue, to learn about the issue, and to kind of come up with a plan. Now, plans change and we get it, but also it gives you opportunities. So we really appreciate everything that Pathlights does for our community. It's such a wonderful organization. So thanks for your time today. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
Again, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Gwen, about everybody has to be a participant. We can no longer be an observer. Right. We are all involved in what essentially and fundamentally is the human development process, aging. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you have to be a part of what this is doing to your community, what this is doing to you and others in your community. And you can be a part of it. You're invited to be a part of it. And it becomes very exciting. And I do hope if people have questions, they can call us at 708-361-0219.
Well, thanks so much for your time. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. Same here, Gwen.
Take care.